episode of Caffeinated Coverage Talk with Todd and Michelle. Happy holidays. I can't believe they're already here. My name is Michelle Burnt. I am your president and partner at InsurTech Hub.
I'm Todd Hall. I'm the CEO and founder of InsurTech Hub.
And you are in store for another one of our favorite people. We've got a lot of awesome people we've had on this podcast. And
Mhm.
today is Mr. John Moody, and he is an employee benefits consultant at The Standard. Welcome, John.
Thank y'all so much for having me. Really looking forward to it.
Yes,
Welcome, brother.
yes. And did you bring your coffee?
Yes, ma'am. I would never miss.
Let's cheers.
Cheers to
Cheers.
you.
Cheers, brother.
Yes.
I,
And we
I,
always like to know what kind of coffee you drink.
Oh, I'm an easy just uh Starbucks guy. What or whatever really and truly is in the coffee machine right down the hall. But
You're
usually it's
easy going.
Starbucks.
John, I heard you only drink coffee on two occasions, day and night. I don't know if
That's
that's
it.
true.
That's it.
Now, do you put any fun creamer or anything in it?
No, I do. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Like I
okay,
can't do the straight black coffee. I got
okay.
just a little bit. I'm typically either a hazelnut or a French vanilla cream kind of guy.
Yes. But this is the time of year where they have the pumpkin spice and the peppermint
Hmm.
out.
Yep.
So I will buy in stock, and my husband's like, "Are you kidding me right now? We do not need 4 containers of peppermint in the fridge." And I'm like, "We 100%
Yeah, well,
do."
of course we do. Of course, priorities. We gotta have our priorities straight.
Oh gosh. Well, welcome, and let's just dive right on in.
Yes, ma'am.
I actually have been asked this question quite a bit, and I was learning myself, but some of our listeners may not know that the Standard now owns Allstate Employer Voluntary Benefits. So, can you tell us just more about like when that merger occurred and what that
Sure.
means for your company long term?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, long term this was a phenomenal thing that's happened. So American Heritage Life Insurance Company, which is technically the underwriting company for all of our products on the voluntary benefits side, was founded right here, right in Jacksonville. You can probably see the building right behind me, in 1956. So a company that's been
Wow.
around for a long time. And then in 1999, Allstate Benefits actually acquired American Heritage Life
Okay.
and ran a very successful operation for the past 25 years. But we all know Allstate, true at heart, is a property and casualty company. And so they really wanted to get their feet more entrenched back into the homeowner space. And what do you need to do to get back in homeowners and really make a good push at it? You need some capital. Well, even though American Heritage was a great acquisition for Allstate, we paid wonderful quarterly benefit or quarterly dividends to the company. Very, very profitable acquisition. They kind of needed that lump sum money
Right.
up front. So, true to fashion, how we do things, we did a little bit differently and actually announced we were up for sale when most of the times you don't find out a company is up for sale until they've already been sold. So kind of
Mm.
late 2023, that decision was made public, and it was about an 18-month process for everything to go through. There was several companies that were looking at us and were very, very interested. But once the standard came to the table, there was no turning back. From what I was told at those senior leadership meetings, when people were kind of the meet and greet and kind of talking about
Yeah.
things, the synergy was there. And, I believe a decision was almost made. It wasn't formalized, but I think after their first meeting, they knew that that was just a partnership that needed to be.
That's a
Uh,
heck of a good meeting.
that was. I wish I'd have been at it. I'm sure it was a lot of fun and we got to learn a lot of things. But everything actually became official this year. So the sale was finally closed as of April the 1st of 2025. So we started the transition over, and really and truly, what are we sitting now? About a little over 7 months, coming up on 8 months, and it has been wonderful. It really and truly
Awesome.
has. The Standard has a phenomenal company culture, and they've just really made us feel at home, just kind of bringing us in under the banner. So, there's been a lot of things in the background. It's a huge undertaking when you're talking about,
Yeah.
mixing, merging systems and processes and everything like that, and kind of getting what our new, company spiel is out there to the marketplace. So we've buttoned a lot of that up. And all I got to tell you is look out 2026.
Let's go.
Yes, ma'am.
I
But it's been
agree.
it's been it's been a wonderful, as a company employee, I can't say anything negative. they've just really made us feel at home, really taking good care of us and brought us into the fold,
That's great.
coming from the Allstate side. So it's been a wonderful transition thus far, and I don't see it changing anytime soon.
I would agree 100%, John. When we first started working with Allstate Benefits, it's hard to believe it was 22, 23 years ago. Yeah, time. Where does time go? I mean,
I
it's like
know.
it's like, but
That's what I say.
I mean, and you mentioned property and casualty, and that's how we found Allstate Benefits, American Heritage Life, because we had a retail property and casualty life and health agency in Virginia, and we were selling Encompass, or
Okay.
I think it was an auto and home product. And I remember I got a flyer and I said, "Would you like to round out your portfolio?" And we were starting to do the major medical, the group health
Hmm.
insurance, and I was thinking, well, voluntary benefits would probably be a natural synergy with that.
Sure.
So that's when we added American Heritage Life, Allstate Benefits, and it's been a fantastic partnership with you guys for many many years. And but as we talk about that, John, like with the standard, I know we had the true voluntary worksite products that we offer, but now with the standard, my goodness, that portfolio has expanded. Can you talk about
Oh,
the
100%.
products we offer? Okay.
To
Hmm.
me, as far as being on the sales side of the company, that being my primary role, working with brokers and producers, much like you at InsurTech Hub, it just rounds out our offerings. Where really and truly we can honestly be a one-stop shop when you talk
Mm.
about voluntary, supplemental, ancillary type of benefits, because there's nothing that we don't have. So this marriage, this acquisition of the Standard and the Allstate VB side is really to me is a match made in heaven. We had a great line of voluntary benefits from your accident plans, cancer, critical illness, your typical VB offerings. And now we have those traditional true group or ancillary benefits that we're able to offer as well. Your group, your STD, LTD, group life, dental. Um, where we didn't have that before on that true group side. So really now we could compete, against some of the mammoths out there. I would look at, a company like Unum, that owns, Colonial Life as well. How much more are we going to be able to compete in that space, being able to package in, whether it's an employer paid or a voluntary short-term disability or long-term disability offering now, we're going to be doing some bundling and be able to discount some of the prices, on that side when you're
Mhm.
packaging in, the VB space as well. So when I say, look out 2026, that's what you're going to start seeing. We're going to be really out there flooding the market, because that's what's really, I see it is really important to your typical broker today is being able to do some level of bundling. That's where
Yes.
companies have had success. So they're they're doing that short term and long term and group life offering, and to be able to do a voluntary benefit offering with the same company is so valuable and so strong where you could, at times I'm going to see we'll be able to have it all in a consolidated, one invoice. That's going to come down the road. But being able to really be a one-stop shop for those secondary lines of coverage outside of your major medical, you don't need to look any further.
I love that. And I love bundling because it's twofold, right? It's the most bang for your buck for the agent, but it's also the total protection package for the
Correct.
customer that they want and deserve. I love
Right.
that.
And we
That's
bundle so many things in our world. Speaking about the property and casualty, you got your homeowners, you got your car, you got the boat, you're getting that multi-line discount.
yeah.
It's kind of the road that our world is taking, and being able to do that now, having all those lines of coverage, it's just going to be such a strong offering we're going to be able to bring out to the marketplace.
So let's talk about who the ideal customer is for you guys. And is it true you can help anywhere from individuals and families to businesses, a whole spectrum? So talk to us about the customer.
Yeah, so really and truly, as far as an ideal customer, I won't give you the generic, oh, it's everybody. But really, the folks that we mix with the best are really our employers, whether they're public or private, that truly care about their employees, because we do.
I like
Being
that.
able to offer those lines of coverages that's going to protect someone in their time of need, that's our value at our core. But we work
Mhm.
with all types of businesses, from your mom and pop shops to your very large organizations to your city municipalities, school groups, state governments. We work a little bit here, there, and everywhere. But I'd say at heart, to me, where I've always felt, we play so well in because it's the ones that truly need us, is that blue to gray collar space.
Okay.
Because those folks that are out there doing that type of work each and every day, they benefit the most from our type of coverage. And to me, that's always been an underserved market. But we do doctors' offices, law firms, all of that as well. So we don't shy away from that. But those Americans workers, I think that's who we really protect the most.
Love that. Love that.
And
John,
yes,
you, yeah.
and just to wrap that part up there, we work with all different shapes and sizes, employee counts, individuals and families. We still maintain our relationship, even though it wasn't part of the sale, but in that Allstate Individual Health Solutions,
Mhm.
we still have our contacts, our partners over there. Again, it wasn't part of the sale, but we still maintain those relationships. So,
It's
we
good to
can
know.
still do things on that side of the house where,
Mhm.
individual medical plans, accident, critical illness, they're in the senior market space, that individual life insurance. So we still have a lot of folks that work with us on the VB side, but they still have that relationship on the individual side that, we're still maintaining where, I might not necessarily be the point of contact for that, but I still maintain my relationship with the person who is.
Yeah.
So that way we're still able to provide that strong level of service to our producers.
Loyalty. I love it.
Yes, ma'am.
We work with that part of the family too on that
Yes,
side of the
sir.
house. We
Yes,
do,
sir.
and they're great. John, you had mentioned about that 18-month period where we didn't know who was going to buy
Mhm.
American Heritage Life. Now we had many conversations, but when I saw that the Standard was going to be the company that we're going to be partnering with, they're the cream of the crop, and
Yes, sir.
those and there's a couple other companies that are really good too in
Oh,
that
sure.
space,
No
but
doubt.
the Standard is the cream of the crop, and it
Hmm.
does truly give us a one-stop shop
Mhm.
in those voluntary benefits and those employer-sponsored benefits, best in class company and service and
Yes, sir.
They
products. But
set the standard.
They
uh,
set the standard. I'm sure there was
hmm.
a thought process behind that name. I'm sure.
You mentioned John earlier, like Michelle was asking about the ideal customer. What about like the size of the businesses? How
Sure.
small, how big? Maybe kind of
Yeah, we
talk about
can
that.
work with all different sizes. I mean, technically, we can go down to a three-person account, a company
Mm-hmm.
that has three employees, all the way to infinity. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know a lot of people know out there, but we provide our voluntary benefits to Walmart, which
Mm-hmm.
is a humongous organization, but they have our voluntary benefit plans in there. I've had it in there for years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But so we can work with a company of that size down to one that has three, four, five people. I'd say when you probably take a look at it, I'd say, we do in that smaller group space? Of course we do, but probably really and truly the most you'll see is, we're probably 10 plus. But we definitely operate in that 3 to 9 space as well. And so does on the standard side of it with our true group space, they have a complete product portfolio for those 3 to 9 size of employers,
Mm-hmm.
where they can still offer your traditional, group STD, LTD life, where, some companies they'd be prohibited being allowed to do that because it's under their threshold. So even, on the standard before the acquisition, they were in that space as well. So again, even in that smaller group market, we still have a very robust offering that we're able to offer to those, smaller employers. Because I mean, that's the backbone of America. People
Mm-hmm.
out there with five, six, seven employees. You may be a
Your mom and
multi-generational.
pa shops.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I mean that. I get chills when I think about those folks because I always loved. When I was a producer myself, out there in the field, I loved working with those accounts because they had the best stories. I
Mm-hmm.
always loved how they got started and kind of how the business became to be. So being able to still take care of those fine folks, that means a whole lot to me.
Yeah.
John, as you say that, and I know this is a little off topic, but I was doing some research on the standard, and after 9/11, they actually specialize in some programs for first responders, for
Yep,
police and fire.
they
And I
sure
think
did.
I think that'd be great, probably with the merger, where we might have some programs
Oh
that, well,
yes, I
we
mean
will.
they.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, after that, horrible tragedy, that we all know happened that day, yeah, they were one of the first to the market to being able to have a specialized benefit for those first responders,
Hmm.
because they needed it, for the level of
Mm,
work that that they do, and the protection and safety and
yeah.
services they provide to all of us. Being able to take care of them is a special thing. So
Hmm.
yeah, Sander was one of the first to markets with it, and so they've been operating in that space for many years. They operated in even prior to that, but they even made it even better, after that unfortunately happened. So
Hmm.
that's always great to see, and that's huge, especially when you're working in the municipality space or that public sector space. Being able to
Hmm.
set yourself apart from some of the competition with the things that you can do for the police and fire and those first responders, where some companies shy away from some of that business when we embrace it.
Hmm. Love
Yeah,
it.
and you hear companies say all the time that their mission is we're here for the customer, but
Hmm.
people want to see how are you? Show me,
That's
right?
right.
And I love that the
Hmm.
We're here for the
standard does
customer,
that.
but we're going to pick what customer we want to be here for.
Right,
I,
right.
I always say deeds, not dialogue. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yes.
show us.
Yes,
Hmm.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, kind of sticking with that employer topic, on your website, I loved when I read this. It says that employers can choose, keyword, the products and services that match their employee needs, another
Hmm.
keyword. I love that. That is a huge value, right? Like sometimes, if an employer is even lucky enough to be able to offer insurance to their employees, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. But I
Sure.
love that you guys really try to listen to the customer's needs,
Hmm.
find out what they need and want, and match your products to that. So, how easy is it for employees to sign up on your
It
plans?
really is. The way I always like to explain it is think about it when you were a kid in school and you're going down the lunch line. And you pick what you want, you left what you didn't want. If you were me, you always left the green beans, sitting there, and you grabbed an extra chocolate cake, and you kept going down the line. But it's that true cafeteria style a la carte option,
Okay.
where you got to think when there's all different types of employers out there, all different types of employees, and everybody has different needs. What works well for me and my family might not work well for Todd and his family, might
True.
not work well for you and your family. So we're all different. We all have different situations. So being able, I think that's what sets us apart from some of the other competition out there, where in certain situations, do we have static benefits that we can't really change? Of course we do, but more so than our competition, we're able to customize our plans where others won't. So we're saying, hey, it doesn't have to be a take it or leave it. It has to, let's look at what you're currently offering and let's design something around that. Fit those holes that you might have in a medical plan or some other kind of offering that you're having. How can we round that out? I
Truly
always thought of
customizable.
yeah, I always thought of voluntary benefits as not being something necessarily extra. It's just rounding out and making your entire benefits package whole, but by adding in, VB. That's the way I
Hmm.
look at it. Because I mean, an accident plan's great, a critical illness plan's great, but it's also meant to help supplement another line of coverage that you have, not necessarily always be a standalone. Of course, I understand something is better than nothing,
Hmm.
but being able to round out your benefit package by adding one of these types of products in really makes it a strong offering for that business and those employees. So having the ability to customize, and Todd can be a testament to this. I'm sure he's seen our book called All About Units, which is a really thick booklet that'll show you how you can customize plans. And I've worked for other of our competitors out there, earlier, different times in my career, and it was, hey, you want this plan? Fine. This is what it is. You can't change nothing to it. But being able to customize ours, I think, just gives us a huge leg up out in the marketplace. And then also gets those employees the type of coverage that they want and need.
John, you talk about you've been with some other competitors in the industry, but your family goes back to
Yes,
Allstate
sir.
pretty far. I mean,
Pretty far, pretty
your
far.
dad
My
and your
my
grandfather, I
my
think, is.
grandfather worked for the company for almost 40 years.
I didn't
Hmm.
know that.
Hmm.
My dad worked for the company in the 80s.
Hmm.
So yeah, when I was a kid and my grandfather still working at the company, he retired in 1993. But back then, every time American Heritage hit a new $1 billion in assets, they made T-shirts.
Hmm.
So my grandpa would always bring me one home, and I still have most of them. They don't fit so well as they
You
did
can make
back
a
then.
blanket out of that.
But I
Right.
always thought that was a cool thing. So yeah, I mean, when you kind of look at it full circle, I take a lot of pride in working for the company and kind of, to me, keeping that family legacy going. So kind of seeing full circle, with my grandfather working there all those years, my dad. When you look at it, I guess I was destined to be in the insurance business. I said grandpa, dad, my brother, and myself. When you add us all up, we're about 137 years in the insurance industry, all four of us combined. So I
Hmm.
guess I guess that was destiny that this is what I was supposed to be doing.
Well,
Wow.
we're blessed and grateful because I'm going to toot your horn a little bit because a lot of our broker partners work with you, and whenever I mention your name, they're like, "John is fantastic.
I
He's
try
great."
hard.
You do, and we're grateful for that, Michelle and I,
Yes, thank you.
and very very grateful. And that actually, my next question brings up that, we know the standard Allstate. We know they got best in class products when it comes to the voluntary employer pay. Walmart wouldn't offer them if they weren't best in
Sure.
class. And but that's not where it stops. It's beyond that, the service, the enrollment, the assistance that you guys provide is exceptional. Maybe expand upon that if you can a little
Oh,
bit.
yes. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we've always kind of prided ourselves on being that the broker's choice of an
Mm-hmm.
insurance company because we've always taken so much pride. We don't have that internal, true sales distribution
Right.
model that some of the, our competition does. Like, yes, I'm in sales, but my customer is that broker. I'm not out there calling on businesses or, trying to open up an account. I'm here to help you do that. And we've always, as far as on the broker side, we've always had top-notch commissions because we understand we love what we do, but we don't necessarily want to do it for free. We got to make a living. When you're out there on the grind each and every day. So
Yeah.
we've always wanted to make sure our brokers are receiving a fair compensation, which I think we do a very good job in that. And our internal partners, from our implementation teams to our sales support to our billing to our claims, we try to kind of collaborate always together. And Todd, you've seen this, it goes from one stage to the next stage to the next stage, but you got a great point of contact in every department that it's in, and they're all extremely passionate about what they do. I'll give her
Mm-hmm.
a plug because she works with me, April Pellissier, my implementation specialist. I mean, she's a phenomenal person, and she will
Mm-hmm.
fight to make sure that the customer is not impacted. Because none of us are perfect. Mistakes are made, but what we try to do is we try to make sure whatever mistake happened, we need to fix it so it's not of any causing any pain to the ultimate customer, which is that policy holder. So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of our thought behind with our implementation folks, again, sales support and billing is making sure things are as smooth as humanly possible so they're not feeling any impact. We all
I'm
know
a,
there could be headaches now and again, but we want to alleviate and minimize as much as we can.
Amen. I'm actually a little confused because I didn't realize we get paid. Michelle told me I didn't get paid. So
Well,
it's like, yeah, yeah,
we,
yeah.
we
It's like,
hold yours in a special account, Todd. Whenever
Not
Michelle
until
says
you
we
check
can
off.
release that.
I'm
Every
sorry.
day I give them a list, and until you check it off, you're not getting paid.
Right.
Right. And Michelle's the only one that knows the combination to that account.
Yes,
You better
you
be
better
very nice
believe it,
to her.
John.
Better be very nice to her.
Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness. Well, so it's a no-brainer why brokers would want to work with you guys. So thank you for sharing that. I think it's also really important, you guys help with the enrollment part, obviously a huge portion, but it goes even further. So do you guys help with like the administrative support behind the scenes and even with the billing for employers,
Oh,
or are they
most
responsible to handle that all themselves?
most definitely we will.
Okay.
Especially for those as you're getting a little bit larger in size of a
Okay.
type of employer. But yes, you still have a representative that's assigned to either your book of business or a specific case that the employer can call on. We got a service team that number that they can call at any time, get help, logging into our administrative portal called Easy Bill, where they can view, reconcile, pay invoices. We'll set up a one-on-one training session with them, obviously answer any
Wow.
questions they had down the line. So we try to give as much support as we can every step of the way. Because the last thing we want to do is bring on a new account, have a nice enrollment, and then it all falls apart on the back end due to administrative.
Exactly. So you guys are very hands-on
We,
from
we,
the
we
get-go through
yes,
till the end.
we're probably one of the probably the biggest companies that has the most technology partnerships out there. We
Okay.
know we live in a very tech savvy, tech heavy world today, and the partnerships that we have, being able to be set up on third party platforms and connections with this entity or that entity. We have a rolling spreadsheet that I see all
Mhm.
the time that it gets added to, or hey, we've strengthened our partnership with this platform or this tech company. Being able to be on so many platforms out there is just such a leg up, you
Yeah.
know, a tip of the cap for us because not all companies can do that. They might have three, four, five that's what they work with, but then this minute you're trying to bring a case to them that needs to be on this different system that they're not familiar with, it doesn't go anywhere. Where chances are we're probably already on there, but if not,
Mhm.
we got a whole team that'll figure out how to get us on
And
there.
make it happen.
I've seen that list. It's like over 100
Yeah,
platforms you're on,
I think the
100
last
plus.
one I
Hmm.
looked at, we were at on 106.
Okay. Hmm.
And like I said, there literally is a team that is their job is to foster those relationships, strengthen them up, and then find new ones for us.
Hmm. Fantastic.
Wow.
And lots of times we'll chip in on some cost for you when you're using one of those platforms, which that doesn't hurt as well.
No.
Maybe, John, this time of year, we're getting into the holidays. We got Thanksgiving, which is hard to believe, just next week, and then Christmas right after that. But I know, this is the time of year it's where it's about giving.
Hmm.
And I know the Standard has been, very much into the giving phase. They've got their own charitable foundation.
I do.
You know, maybe if you want, can you talk a little bit about the
Sure,
impact
yeah.
on the
I've
community?
definitely learned more about that again, since they acquired, the Allstate Voluntary Benefits Division, kind of looking into that and actually was looking into it a little bit earlier today because I want to make sure I was speaking on it properly.
Mhm.
But we have a program that specifically that us as employees are eligible for, and it's all about giving back. It's called, I made a note here. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Employee Giving 365. And so what that does is as an employee, I can contribute donation dollars to nonprofits, to schools, and to different charities, and the company will do a double match on that. So I looked up because it actually we have a company email that goes out, and one actually just went out on the 17th. It's what's called our internal newsstand. And so far through the third quarter, through this employee giving back charitable program, we've just surpassed $5 million thus far.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I
Hmm.
looked
Wow.
in here, and that has been comprised of 2,300 nonprofits and schools that have been donated towards for this year just through employee donations that's being either
Wow.
matched or double
And
matched by
the
the
year's
company.
not even done.
That's right. And like I
Hmm.
said, that's just the employee portion of it, not on the corporate side, where, the charities and foundations that on a corporate level, that's donated towards. This is literally just from employees having a deduction taken out of our paycheck that's specifically going towards that. We've done over $5 million to over 2,300, either nonprofits or schools so far this year. So I learned that when I remember when I was because even though I'd already worked for the company, technically we had to go through new onboarding
Yeah.
after the close. And
Hmm.
and you could literally do as little as $5 if you wanted to. It doesn't
Wow.
have to
But the
be
company
a
will
big
match it.
contribution. The company will match it. Now there's a threshold where if you get up super
Of
high,
course.
they might change a little bit. But think about how many 5, 10, $50
It adds up.
contributions that employees have made that's been either
Right.
matched or double matched by the company to reach $5 million. That just shows how giving all the employees and the whole company is towards charities.
Love that. Love that. I mean, we're definitely free market capitalists, so we like
Mhm.
profit, but
Sure.
we always put, with our motto at InsurTech Hub is people, purpose, then profit.
Yes,
And
sir.
Yes.
sounds like the Standard is. Uh,
100%. Yeah, I
mhm,
just thought that was such a cool program as I was learning about
Yes.
that, transitioning
mhm.
over to the standard, that I started participating in it. But again, I didn't know how much it was really happening, but it just so happened I saw that email and saved it. when Michelle had sent me, what we were going to discuss today, and I brushed back up on that. And I wanted to write those numbers down because I was just amazed, but I wanted to make sure I was stating it
Wow.
accurately.
That says a lot about the company.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we
Does.
can't
Especially
thank
this
you.
time of year.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. And sometimes people do this time of year have a little extra money
Of
that they're
course,
like, who do I
of
donate it
course.
to? It's a tax write-off. And so really think about that. In fact, if you go, is it just thestandard.com, John?
Mhm. Correct.
Okay. On there is where I saw they have a whole philanthropy
They
page
do.
dedicated to that. And
They
that's where
do.
I saw even if you are listening and you're in a time of need, because sometimes life happens, you can
Mhm.
even apply on there for assistance. So I just was super, super impressed with that. And I thought it's the time of year of giving. Let's
Sure.
bring that up and talk about it. As we wrap up, first of all, thank you. You are
Thank you so
awesome.
much for having me.
And it's almost December 1st. Is it too late for agents to join in on open enrollment? And how hard is it to get contracted with you so they could end the last 6 weeks of OEP strong?
It is so easy. All you have to do is send this guy, John, right here an email. If you don't already have it, all you got to do is call Todd and he'll give it to you. We'll get you
Yes.
set up. But no, it is definitely not too late. We're still welcoming new producers that want to join the family. We'll take them, from today till December 31st and beyond. But no, it is definitely not too late. If you got some clients that's coming up for a re-enrollment or you're still out there prospecting, bringing on new business, and you need different solutions or additional solutions to what you're out there doing, there's still plenty of time. We can get things set up. We can still put business in for a January 1st effective date. So we're working strong all the way through the end of this year.
And top
Right.
industry contracts. You guys are very generous with your
Yes.
contracts.
Yes, that
Hmm.
we
Yes.
we try to take care of our producers and our broker partners just as much as we're taking care of the actual policyholders themselves.
Mhm.
But yes, we know the job of that field producer is not an easy job. That
Yeah.
that's
And,
that's the tough thing.
and you own your book of business.
And that is very, very important. You do own your
Huge.
Hmm.
book of business. Day one, dollar one, it belongs
Hmm.
to you. It's an
Correct.
asset. So you're not only building yourself income, you're building an asset for yourself that you could pass down to family, that you could sell when you were ready to retire. Whatever the case may be, you truly have ownership in your book of business with us when not every
Got it.
Hmm.
company can say that.
100%.
Well, thank you for being a guest on the podcast. I say next time we have it in Jacksonville behind you.
100%. Let's do it.
Because
Let's
that looks
do
like a really nice place.
it. I'd be happy to have y'all here.
I'm
Well,
all
we
there. I'm all in.
we
Mhm.
truly appreciate this partnership.
Yeah.
We are stoked for 2026. We're going to conquer and help a lot of people along the way, which is what it's all about. So, thank you, my friends, and we will see you on the next episode of Caffeinated Coverage Talk.
Thank y'all so much for having me.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, brother.